Can you tell me again, tell me about that painting. Why is that painting important to you?
From when I went from the ghetto, from Budapest, from the big city, to this Carpathian mountain area where it was still fruits and the trees and food. But all the Jews were taken out of there. Was a lot of Jews living there, but they were all taken to Auschwitz. Very few came home, and they lost everything and their children. When they saw me, they started crying. I didn't know why people cry all the time when they see me. I asked my aunt, do I look bad? There's something wrong with me that they cry? And then I realized they cry because their children are gone.
Yeah, you were the child.
So I was like doubly blessed, or
Yeah,
whatever you want to call it.
yeah,
But I learned from each and every one. They were getting married. That's all they wanted to have another family.
yeah.
So it was so important for me. At 8, I wanted to get married, to get pregnant, to have children. It was so important.
To have kids right away. Who are all these amazing people?
So these are my parents' wedding picture. And this is my mother when she was a young girl. This is the favorite person of my life, my mother's mother, my grandmother. She was, through the war, she was next to me and she gave me her food. It's the tie between us was so strong. I look at her and that's all I can say. Where are you?
Yeah.
I miss you.
What was your grandmother's name?
Rose.
Grandma Rose.
Beautiful woman. And this is her husband. She married him. He had 6 children, and their wife died with the 6th childbirth. And she married him. And then they had 6 other kids.
Wow.
So these are only the 4 here. 4 other kids. One is my mother. My aunt was with us at the ghetto too. They sent.
And what happened? What was the fate of all of them?
He was killed. He had 2 kids. Lived very close by us. I have pictures with him and his kids. He was killed. He was stabbed at night in Budapest. He was a tailor that the biggest store in Budapest. That's where he was sewing. A very, very special tailor. And he was going home at night and
lost his life.
Lost his life. The Jews lost their life all over Budapest like that. If they're taken to the Danube and shot into it, or shot on spot, or taken with the trains were running to the concentration camps. Yeah.
So these men were murdered, and
My mother.
Your mother and your aunt?
The same
fate.
With the same fate as me. Yeah. She brought us whatever food. She was very, wasn't afraid. She went out and took off her yellow star and she tried to get some bread or food to us. But that's how we survived, especially with her food, constantly bringing.
The bravery of going out and foraging and
Yes.
stealing or whatever to survive.
And once she was captured and she was taken to the whatever office, Nazi office, and she had stories. She was beautiful. They let her go, unusually.
Yeah. How fortunate.
Yes. And this is my family.
So this is the part of the story I think that
We're gonna start.
yeah, but it's such an important part of the story is that the different characters in your story who allow you to make it, survive, and then thrive eventually. This is what the result is of all that,
Yes.
of your beauty, your kindness, and your strength. It's pretty.
And each one knows my story. Now, this one is going to be 10, that little boy.
Right here.
Yes, Lev. And his father already wants me to tell the story, but I have to be gentle with him.
But if
But
this video will be a great way to do that.
She writes my story. She has many of my story, Tali. She's 14 now, and this is 17. And that's number 1 right here. And that's my daughter who were born in this country, my American daughter. I'm very proud of her. And that's her 2 kids. Jessica, she's getting her master's degree. She's in Minnesota, all the way up in school. She's going to be a speech pathologist.
Oh,
Yes.
we can get her a job.
Oh, she's wonderful.
Yeah.
They already want to adopt her, people.
I'm just going
Okay.
to sneak behind you as you do this.
So, my father, whole family was murdered, as you know. And this is my father. And there is a working picture. But I have it over there. It's very hard for me to see that how hard he worked. And after 18 months of hard labor, 2,000 men let go to the Hungarian border, and the Nazis were waiting for them from Yugoslavia. They shipped them out, walking, not shipped. As they reached the Hungarian borders, they told them to make graves, and they were all shot into it.
And this is
That's
a photo
him.
that, yeah, you want to tell us about that picture?
The last time I saw him, my father, me and my father. You know, I get sometimes her and him, because in Hungarian there is no such a thing.
It's just them or they, right?
Yeah.
One pronoun.
So that's my husband and 2 of his grandchildren. It was our second marriage. My husband and you'll see a picture of him, Judy's father and Lisa's father. He survived Auschwitz. Not so good.
Yeah.
The number, and he was 15, very violent. That's what he learned. So we divorced after 23 years of marriage. And I married well. I had a wonderful life. And this is during the war, my mother and me in Budapest. I was about 7 there, 8.
How cute she is. You stayed cute.
Oh, right. That's Eli who made that picture. And
What's this one?
that's that famous Mel's nephew, one with the famous baseball
New
player.
York Yankee, yeah.
Yeah. And this is my number 1's husband. He's Israeli, and he was taking care of, this is Herzog, the president of Israel, and Rabin, who was murdered. And that's him, that's Yuda. And yeah, they live in.
And all this comes out of this story.
All this comes out
That's
of
the beauty of it all.
It's, yes, all that comes out, and all the faces, and the ones that no longer, and the outcome of that family, and I cherish them all of them. Every room has pictures. Like maybe this is, here it's mostly travel pictures, but
Look at the Egyptian parchment.
yes. This is my sister. My mother remarried This is my sister. Oh, this is better. My mother remarried after the war. And this is my sister. She was born after the war, her husband and my husband. And this is her number one child with my number one grandchild.
And what is your sister's name?
Esther.
Esther. And you're older or younger?
I survived the war.
Oh, you're the older sister. Okay, and then she came
10
later.
years later.
10 years later. Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
So you're the number one.
I'm the number one.
There's so many little pieces of history, like ancient history,
Yes.
modern history, life history.
Yes, this is travel. This is Paris. We took all the children traveling and showed them mostly the culture, the
Yeah.
different cultures that you should know about and that you should cherish. And there is nothing to hate. It's all love. It's all, if we only turn to goodness, to kindness, the world would be so beautiful, because the world is beautiful.
Yes.
It's the people. I don't know where they get the anger and hate. When I look at, I mean, they all have love in their heart, these people.
Where is your favorite place to go outside of the United States?
Italy.
Oh, here we go. Where in Italy?
Everywhere. Everywhere. South, Sorrento and all. Italy. Love the food, love the people, love the everything. The culture. Very Mediterranean. And I love that Mediterranean.
Grace got home 2 weeks ago. She lived in Rome for the whole semester.
Oh,
Studied
Rome.
abroad, yeah.
Oh, so this is funny. Let Judy tell the story. Because they were traveling with two of her grandchildren, Eva and Tali, and they're in Rome, sitting in a restaurant, and all of a sudden a guy comes over and says, "Hi, Judy, my cousin's son." They were traveling from Australia.
Wow. Wow. We were in the Colosseum and ran into friends from the Jewish Federation.
Oh,
While we were walking, and all of a sudden we hear, "Hey, Knightsky! Knightsky!" And my son turns around, and it was a Peltz.
oh,
Yeah, Jason Peltz. And
Jason.
he's like, "Ted," we're like, "What are you doing here?" He's like, "We're here with our cousins."
I
I
grew
mean,
up with their parents.
Oh, you did? Yeah.
I knew
Good people.
every one of them.
Yeah. Well, when we're done, maybe you and Grace can swap out stories of your adventures in Rome.
Ah, great. My husband lived all his life here in Milwaukee, worked for the Federation. He was the executive for like 57 years. But he was all over the world. They took him all over the world to be
He consulted,
making,
right?
consulting,
Yeah.
making this, the
Supporting other federations.
yes, and making it better. And he knew the Jewish leadership all over the world.
Yeah.
But he never went to the football game in
Oh, Lambeau Field?
Lambeau Field. So my grandson took him with
Oh,
a
that's
wheelchair
fantastic.
before he died.
Well, that had to make him number one.
He's number two.
Can't escape it. I just love that your whole home is a photo album
Yes.
of just like how
My life
your
is-
resilience led to all of these other wonderful
Yes.
things.
This is traveling, and she found some kind of animal, and he's looking. Yeah, wonderful. I think this was his bar mitzvah. I think that's my nephew.
Now, who wrote this?
It was given to me with this picture.
In the worst of times, people stood up and saved others. These were angels God had sent. These were the strangers that were miracles. Have peace, life is beautiful, and be grateful. It just takes one person to make a difference and save the world. War and hate only create more hate. Love and be kind to one another. That's an Eva Zaret quote. That is beautiful. There you go. Just capture that.
I always looked for good people, and I did find them. And I always thought that was from God, sending me the good people.
Oh, jeez.
Because they are good people in this world, no question. This one,
Oh, do we lose?
picture coming to America, and that's my little girl who's over there, Judy, you met.
And what's the
Yes.
drawing?
That was from my husband.
The family?
It's a family.
Yeah.
That, you know, I always, as a child, I wanted to have tons of kids. I couldn't. I had my American daughter with one ovary, so I couldn't have more. This is my husband with Golda Meir.
So this is Mel or
Erwin.
Melvin.
Mel.
Yeah.
And they had a very good relationship there. Well, she was from here, and Mel was traveling every 3 months in Israel. She cooked for him.
Oh, wow.
In
The Prime Minister's house?
The Prime Minister's house. She cooked,
Not many people could say the Prime Minister made you dinner.
and she did,
Yeah. Wow.
except one cousin. And he lives in Australia, and it took me 40 years to find. It was all written up. I will find.
Yeah. But he's in that photo there.
And this is him, his wife, and their children, daughter and son, and their family. And that's how he feels about that too. Pictures all over his house. And yeah, he has 2 kids and all the grandchildren. And when we found each other,
And who is this strikingly beautiful woman here?
oh, yeah, that's her wedding,
Number one.
number one's wedding, yeah.
Wow.
And this is her 2 children, Tali and Eva, and she's named after me. Number one has number one.
Each one?
Yes.
And then
well,
on
each
the 8th night, this one gets led?
that's the shamus. That's who takes care of all of that. So 1 night, 2 nights, the 8th night.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, that's
What a
very
neat
old.
piece.
Old, very old ones.
Can I grab one?
From they're all Hebrew, from Poland, White Russia actually. When they came to America, he thought that he needs the books.
Let's see what they say. We'll find out. Well, it's Hebrew. It's not. Yeah, truth in the depths of the heart of the soul, the heart of the body.
You know,
The letter of the Holy Spirit on the Holy Spirit is a symbol of the Holy Spirit, which is the power of the Holy Spirit to save the world and to save the world from evil. That feels a little divine that I'd open to that page.
Isn't that something?
That is something.
Isn't that something?
What are the chances?
Brought from White Russia.
Yeah. Eva, Grace and I are very excited to be back here. It's
Very
good to
nice
see you.
meeting you. I mean, seeing
See
you.
And
And I remember when the first time we met.
we met here during COVID.
Yes.
It was wonderful. And Grace was in high school then, and we wanted to come today and hear your story again. And we're going to start out with the current state of your life. So can you tell us a little bit about what's your life in 2025? Family, and where, because we're going to start at the end here instead of the beginning.
Okay. I have 2 kids. I have 4 grandchildren. Each of my kids had 2 kids, a boy and a girl, just happened to be. And my husband, Mel, has 2 daughters, 2 sons, and one of them have 2 daughters.
2 grandchildren.
2
2 granddaughters.
grandchildren. And I'm very close with them too.
And you live in Milwaukee, Wisconsin?
And I live in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. My home since Mel and I got married 9 years ago. I live here in this house, and I love this house. I am working for HERC. I love them. I think that it's the most important thing to go out and talk to kids to stop hatred. That's in me. Don't hate, love, be kind. Get the other persons where they were born, how their life is going, what wonderful things people can do with love and kindness and goodness. Hatred brings war and tears people apart. And I just want to change it. And I speak with thousands of kids, literally, thousands of kids. And I feel that that's why I'm still alive, because that's what I'm doing, and it's so important for me.
It's such a great purpose. And,
purpose in life.
Yeah,
yes.
and you impact lots and lots of people. And, you know, we're excited today in the ability for us to capture this story so that we can just continue that forever for classrooms and kids across the country and the world.
So important. And in the meantime, when I speak to kids, sometimes kids wait for me to be finished, and they have a private question, because I always leave enough for question and answer time. And many times they ask me, where are you getting your strength? After all you went through. That's why the survivors are so important for kids to meet me, because they see that I didn't get like them. I didn't hate anybody. I looked for loving people, and I found loving people in all color, in all religion, all color. There is good and there is bad in people. And we supposed to get the best out of people. And I am not a religious person, but even in the Bible it says to make the world better. And I think my thing is to make people better. The world is okay if the people will be good.
Yeah. And I think what happens when you are there, because we've been in large audiences together, I think what's really wonderful is while you share with them that, you know, the world needs love, you bring that love to them. I mean, I watched, just like you said, when you were finished speaking, all of the young men, women, and people who were with us that day, the quick line that came up, like, can I just have a hug from you? Can I just ask you a quick question? And everyone is struggling with something. And your presence and your story allow people to frame where is their issue as far as its magnitude, and how do I get through this? And my favorite part, and what I love most about you, is that after you tell your story, which we're about to hear, is that everyone walks away seeing that there's a pathway to happiness. That through both resilience, perseverance, and then empathy, like trying to understand the world that we live in, that they will find that.
Yes.
And it is my favorite part about you, is that you have an air of optimism, and you get so fueled when you're with young people and you get to tell the story.
I always was like that. Then I lost so many people, and in the ghetto I saw so much death that I said, I'm going to have a lot of kids. When I survive, I'm going to have a lot of children, and my friends going to have a lot of children, and we're going to make a better world. I always found wonderful people And I have no problem finding the good people or the good in people. The good in people, the kindness in people. And that's what I always talk about, because I think that's how I got my strength from that thought that, first of all, what is this? I mean, we are here on this earth for a short time, and it is short. I'm 88. I don't know where life went. You know, you work. I came to this country, which I'm going to start talking about. I worked sometimes 2-3 jobs, and I had a baby to take care of. And my husband was working. And to get our first house, how much work it took, and how much saving it took. We couldn't afford to go to a vacation. We went camping. It's not the vacation. The vacation not always cost a lot of money. We had a wonderful time camping. That's how I knew Baraboo and Lake Geneva and the north in Wisconsin, beautiful. So you can have vacations, wonderful vacation, doesn't have to cost so much.
I think one of the neat things that you foreshadow is when you were little that you wanted to have lots and lots of children. And we're going to talk about your 2 daughters here in a second. But for me, when I hear you say that, it's almost as if you were divinely put on track to have lots and lots of children.
I love that.
Because when you are with all of these young people
those
all
are
of the
my
time,
kids.
Yeah, that's your flock.
I go in to these schools like I was in, but not long ago, I was in middle of the state, was 850 kids, high school kids, only high school kids, in where I was, the middle of the state.
Yeah, that's okay.
And it was like my kids. And I give them time to ask questions. And many of them, I remember one girl crying and said to me, I just lost my mother. I don't know how I'm going to survive it. I said, you just heard my story. How many people? My father's picture is in my kitchen. And look at him all day, every day, whatever. I miss him forever. But life, this is one life we have. And we have to make the best of this one life.
Yeah, it moves in one direction.
And fast.
Yeah.
So
let's start to review that life.
Life is the most important thing in the world.
So
and better make the best of that life.
And take advantage of it, all of the things that we have.
Yes.
And that's where we're going to start. So your whole home is a gigantic museum of your life. The beautiful photos and all the little pieces from your travels and Mel's travels. But tell us where you were born.
I was born
there.
Budapest, Hungary, on the Pest side. And you were in Budapest, so you know the hilly part, the other side of the Danube is Buda, and Pest is the city side. And so I was born in the city side, Kartács utca 2, Földszint 22, it's in my head since I was born, 1936. Didn't have too many years of happiness because my father was taken away when I was like 6 and a half. And then we heard that they were killing them. After 18 months into this hard labor, he was murdered. They had to make their own grave and shut into it. From me, from house to house, there were, what happened, you know, I don't give a lecture of specific things. I tell the kids what I saw as a child. And that's the story I'm saying, because statistic you can get from a book, but the story, what I'm telling, you cannot get, well,
Right.
partially.
So you grew up in Budapest, and tell us, like, before that all happened. So 1936, you're born.
October, so the
October.
36 was fast to go.
Yeah, and by that time in Germany, there's significant anti-Semitism. People are being moved from their homes, and slowly over Europe's boundaries are changing. By 1939, the world, Germany has invaded Poland. The Czech Republic has allowed the Germans to expand into the Sudetenland, and Budapest is just on the outside of that.
Well, but you have to understand that Hungary and Germany were always friends.
Very close.
And when this happened, Germany didn't have to invade Hungary. They were welcomed.
Correct. So you were in grade school.
I was in first grade,
First grade.
7 years, and first grade, my father was taken, and we were struggling. We were already in the second place where they took us, more and more Jewish people into one apartment, one house, it's more. And then they shipped them out. The trains were going daily. So we didn't know all that, as I know now. But there in the brick factory, they used to put people in that were going on the train. So we know we are safe because we still in house to house. We were in a house where we were allowed to live without yellow star in the lapel.
And you were in grade school when this began.
Yes.
Can you share with us, like, when was the first time that someone brought it to your attention that you were Jewish, in a negative way?
I lived in an area where not just Jews lived. I had many friends that were not Jewish, very good friends. And I went to school with them. And one day, the teacher announced that from now on, when we say the morning prayer, the Jewish kids have to step outside. And we didn't know why. And I was always inquisitive, and I wanted to know. And the teacher said, because you killed Jesus. First of all, I didn't know who Jesus was. And my parents were working people. I went home crying. My grandma and my mother didn't know why I am so upset. So I told them I didn't know that we killed Jesus, that their God, Jesus, the Christian people. And in Hungary, it was all Roman Catholics, most of them. And it was very important for my friends. It's the Son of God, and we killed it. We killed him. And my grandma, I remember my grandma Rose explained to me that the Romans and this and that, the whole story. So I shouldn't take it upon myself that I killed anybody. She was very great with explanation, and I understood that.
But that was first grade?
First grade.
First grade. That's a lot for a little person to carry. That's not their responsibility.
Since then, I spoke with religious schools, and sometimes I'm standing next to Jesus, and I look at one point, it was Ash Wednesday, I remember, and I was speaking to this group of kids, and then I'm standing next to Jesus Christ, and now I know the story. He was a rabbi, and he wanted to make it easier, and that's, I know the history. And I say, oh, I'm standing next to you. hello. And the whole class laughed because I made it easy,
Yeah.
easy.
So you're in first grade. Mom and dad and you guys
My
are.
father was already in working
He had
camp.
taken away to the working camp, and it's your mom and your grandmother and your grandfather,
No,
just your mom and grandma.
and my aunt.
And then you're at home, and then tell us the story of how you got from the home into the apartments, and then eventually into the ghetto.
Yeah, it was step by step, and you know that how many different times we had to more people in and more people in. At one point, we are in an apartment that we only had a room where we were sleeping, and it was whistling at a 5-story apartment house, and we lived on the fifth floor. My mother was working, my aunt was looking for some food, and I was home with my grandma, with a lot of people in that apartment. So whistling in the yard. All the kids should come down. We're taking you for an outing. Somehow I was born with this sixth sense that I should not go. Something gave me that feeling, no, I'm not gonna go down. I'm gonna stay here. And I was scared that if they come and look, because they know I'm living here, I put myself into the mattress, under the mattress of my bed. I was hiding under the mattress. So nobody should see me, nobody should hear me, and I'm not here. My mother came home at night, I'm still there, barely breathing, and they're crying that they took all the kids, never to be seen again, because they took them all to Auschwitz. I saved myself. I came out of under the mattress, and I told my mother I didn't go down. And nobody should know, you know, every building had a person who were in touch with the Nazis.
So there was always someone in there who would go report out.
Downstairs.
So
So
your mom goes to work. I mean, I when you tell this part of the story, just as a father, I think to myself the horror of coming home and then thinking and hearing that they tricked all the children into being taken away, and then you pop out from underneath the mattress because of your instincts. What happens next as time goes on while you're in Budapest?
So that was one major thing that I saved myself. The another thing that I did is I saved my mother out of the line. Because every woman was announced on the radio, have to come to the brick factory to sew for the Germans. Well, that was not true. All these women were shipped, ended up in Auschwitz to the train station. So my mother was in line, and then the radio announced that whoever husband is in Bor, that hard labor camp, don't have to go. Now, why they came up late? Already the people were on the road. So I ran after my mother. And you know, Budapest is not a small city. I found them on the boulevard walking. And I ran over to my mother. I found my mother. And I said, you don't have to go because Daddy is in Bor. It happens that I had a nice person. Somebody sent me a nice person. A policeman came over, what's going on here? And my mother said, my daughter came, that I should come out of the line because my husband is in Bor, I don't have to go. And my daughter, I just want her to go back home. And the nice police officer said, your daughter is right. Go out of the line and go home with her. I saved my mother's life. That was the second big situation, history that and from then on, I didn't want to be without my mother. It was so important for me to hold on to her. I went to work with her. It was middle of the winter, and they were throwing brick to brick, they were helping what she was doing, many people cleaning up the bomb-out shelter, bomb-out buildings. So they were throwing one brick to another, and I was little, and they threw a brick into my head one day. And my foot froze. To this day, I have frozen feet from that time. But I didn't want to leave my mother. I wanted to be with her.
And at this time, you are 9 years old?
8.
8 years old. And as this winter goes on and it takes us into spring, you are now in the ghetto.
Now
You're living in the ghetto.
Into the ghetto.
And describe that for us. Like, what was
Well,
the
it
conditions
was
like? And
a lot of buildings, area were put together for the ghetto. A lot of buildings. And first we lived in regular apartments, a lot of people together. And then also, don't forget that is the war going on, Second World War going on. Bombing, firebombing. We had to run from one building to the other. It's the war, but we were not scared from the war. I remember I rather hear a bomb than seeing young Nazi kids, and some were Hungarian Nazi kids, coming with guns and kill us. We had to put our hands up and shoot people. And by then, we were living in the basement because half of the building was gone, bombed out. And most of the people, and was no room just for one person. And there were a few kids, I remember playing with them, if it's called playing. In the basement was terrible. No light, no food, no water, it was terrible. And every day or every other day, boys came in and shoot people. And then what we did, they pulled the people over to one who dead people, into a corner. And that corner was growing. The corner of the building was growing because more and more people died.
And that's where there were bodies piled.
That we couldn't take them out. That's where they were. And I remember 2 of the kids, we used to look if their eyes closed or they're open, or how come they're not breathing. And, we didn't understand.
You're little.
I had more to do with that, seeing the people die and dead, than alive people. So I never was scared of death, or I sometime I think at some point death is a homecoming, or going, or what, because
the fear fades.
Yes.
And so that's where you are as the war is progressing.
And I was also sick. I had this, they called it a Ukrainian sickness, that you're running, diarrhea, but it was not from food.
Yeah.
It was a sickness that I got. And by the time, at the end, they broke into, the Russians broke into the basement and liberated us. But coming with the guns, I was really scared from a gun. Even now, I wouldn't have a gun or pistol, anything. I'm scared from it because that kills.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't, I tell my grandchildren also, don't have guns. I mean, that's something, to this day, I hate it.
Yeah. One of the pictures that we saw in the hall had your mom and your grandma and your aunt in that photo, and some of the men in the photo. What was the fate of your aunt?
My aunt was the strong one in our family. She went out, took the Jewish star off her lapel, and she went to get food. She was brave, and she knew where to go and what to do, and she's the one who kept us alive with food. Very little, but makes a big difference.
Yeah.
And I remember when we were liberated and we went into our home, which was used by people that lived there, and I went into the stove, the cooking stove, and there had a piece of bread was with green mold on it. It was the most delicious piece of bread I ever ate. So I telling the story in a university, and the kids told me, probably that helped you because we had no antibiotic.
Yeah.
That the green, the bacteria was what they made
Yeah, like a
antibiotic. Penicillin.
Yeah.
So they were telling me, I was on the stage and told me, that's what saved you.
Yeah.
Probably something did.
There's just all these wonderful characters in your story that, and I say character in an endearing way, that kind of come in and help and support you.
Yes.
There's another story, Ava, of not such greatness, where you have they're in line to leave.
Oh, when we were marching, I know
Yeah.
what you want to.
Share
That's
that
the-
with us, because that's
That's
so
what
sad.
gives me nightmares. And I see the people in that nightmare totally. I
So
see
this
the
is
baby
this is a line of people to get
going
into.
into the ghetto. And they marched us. It's not like it was so far. It was far, but not that far. But they wanted to show us as worms, as bad people to the whole community. So everybody was out, like watching us, like we are
You were on parade.
on parade.
Is-
And babies in mothers' arms were crying because they were hungry or wet. It took a whole day to go to the ghetto. And next to my mother was a woman holding her baby, just like I hold my babies. And the baby was crying, and she couldn't quiet that baby. I was looking in the back because my grandmother was walking with my aunt, and she couldn't walk much. And the Nazi beat her up with a bayonet or whatever, the other side of the gun.
Yeah, the butt of a rifle. That was your grandmother.
My grandmother. But my aunt helped her. They dropped everything, all the food, whatever they had in their, little basket. And she was helping my grandma. So I'm looking at this baby next to me, next to my mother, this woman, beautiful woman, and the baby, and she's trying to quiet the baby. All of a sudden, a Nazi comes. I don't know. Nazi to me is Nazi, Hungarian Nazi or German Nazi or whatever. He was a Nazi, grabbed the baby out of the mother's arm and threw it to the wall. The baby stopped crying. The baby was dead.
And the
That's-
hardest part of that story is, as you've told it, no one did anything.
No, you couldn't. We
And you just
couldn't
had to
do
continue
anything.
to move. And that mother and the death and the violence and the hatred.
And
is,
that the mother was kept walking with us,
Right.
crying and walking with us.
And like you pointed out, people look at the history of the Holocaust through numbers and the sheer madness of it all, but they don't.
The small stories are
It's
lost.
the experiences that you share that are just so powerful.
And that gives me nightmares. Whenever I go out speaking, I have nightmares.
Well, you
lot
were a
of
beautiful little
nightmares.
girl, and this is all going on around you.
And I remember, and it's like photograph in my mind. I see them.
Well, that's the science of trauma, is that those are things that get locked in. You know, there's three ways people learn. They learn through repetition, they learn intrinsically because they want to know, through experiences, or they learn through fear. And the fearful memories and learning are the ones that stick the most, because that's how we are wired. You know, you touch
Yes.
fire one time, you're never going to do that again. But to have experienced that as such a young person. So now the Russians, all of this stuff is going on.
The Russians-
Your father went to a work camp. He loses his life, has to dig his own grave. Your mom and everything. You go through all of these pieces. You get to 1945, and I mean we speak to it in this short little window of 5
Yes.
minutes. But you go from your home, a middle class lifestyle, to an apartment with lots of other strangers. Then you move, and then now you're in the ghetto in the basement. A pile of bodies in the corner of people murdered by Hungarian, like Hitler Youth or Hungarian
Yes.
Nazi youth.
Yes.
You're living in fear. Door busts down. Russians come in,
Not the
free
door.
you.
The whole side of the building, they're busting in. They didn't know where the door was or whatever. It's
As
a
they
basement.
were searching for soldiers.
They were searching for soldiers. And they came in and they saw, I was in the bathroom, it was like a latrine. And it was right next to it where that whole wall, like a whole wall, broke in. Where actually that wall broke in where the dead people were also. That was the other side. And they come in, they were scary. I was scared from them because they're like wild. I mean, they took them 3 weeks to, I don't remember exactly how many, house to house, the Russians had to take Budapest, house to house. And the bombings were going on, and the Russians were coming, the Katyusha rockets. I still remember, and sometimes I have it in my nightmare, the Katyusha rockets were singing as they were blowing in.
Yeah, they had a weird whistle as they
Like
would come in. Yeah.
a song.
Yeah.
And I remember we wrote, the 3 of us, the kids, wrote a song about them, how the Jews had to suffer and all that. I still have the story.
And that's one of those pieces for you, right? Like you're a child, and like, what did you do all day? You know, you went to work with your mom, but then there was a point at which there was no
We
work.
couldn't go out anymore. It was bombing constantly, and the Russians were coming house to house. So they broke in, they came in, and they said, you can go. So we came out of the ghetto. It was total devastation. The city was in rubbles. The bridges were no longer. You couldn't go from one side unless you swam. It was death everywhere. Death German soldiers, death Hungarian soldiers, death everywhere. That's all I remember, is just like in our basement, the whole city was full with death and smoking. The whole city was in smoke, and that beautiful city was bombed to hell. And we went to our house, and I had that bread, and I was very sick. My mother was trying to get a doctor for me. How you can get after a war, after the Holocaust? My aunt said she's gonna go to this aunt who always saved us with food. Mm-hmm. She always thought of food that you needed. She's gonna take me to the Carpathian Mountains. She knows somebody, and she met somebody, and she got married to this man, and she's taking me with her to the Carpathian Mountain, where she's going to find a doctor, and I'm gonna be okay. And my mother stayed with my grandmother in Budapest.
Back at their home.
At their home.
So you then,
Now, my mother, when we went away, give the jewels to friends and the clothes, we give away everything to friends to hold them for us when we come back. Never got anything back except my father's clothes. She brings, this friend of my mother brings what it meant to me. My father's clothes. My mother threw them on the bed, and I jumped on it and I cried my eyes out, my heart out. I was smelling my father through the clothes. That's why I'm saying that, what it made me feel. The sadness that I never gonna see him again and smell him again. A child.
yeah, family gone, friends gone, all over the, on trains, cattle cars, to
And then-
Auschwitz, to work camps, to just sold
Death.
into slavery, basically, and very few people make it out from your neighborhood,
Yes.
let alone any family members. But in the end, it's you, your mom, your aunt,
Yes.
and your grandma.
And my grandma. And we survived together. And then when my aunt took me to the Carpathian Mountains, I cried day and night. I want my mother. I want my grandma. How can you took me here so there is food, but I don't care about food. And I used to walk on the streets and talking to God. I have to tell you, I talked to God in the 7 and 8 and 9 years of my life, the 3 years of my life, more than ever. Prayers cannot capture, because there was nobody else. I reaching out to God all the time and talking, why? And that's how I found that piece of Torah. One day, it's in the Jewish Museum. I give it to the Jewish Museum. I found this piece of scroll, Torah, in it for a child. And I took my yellow star and made a cover. And I embroidered the whole thing and I said, okay, God, I wore this yellow star, now you can wear it. You understand the connection?
Yes. The symbolism of it all is so powerful. And what was the script that you put inside of it?
What I found.
Oh, okay.
It's a scroll
a scroll of the Torah.
for a child. And I brought it. I have it. And I give it to the Jewish Museum. My kids were upset about it, my grandkids. But it's, it's old. And I thought it will be much better if I have it there than in my home.
Sure.
Nobody sees it. And there is a story over there about it.
So you get to the
It's
Carpathian.
constantly, I was in touch with God. Constantly. I am not a religious person, but I think that God helped me live.
Both through those conversations and then the ability to just reflect and
have that sense of helping myself, helping to survive. It was like built in. It came from something.
Do you feel that those conversations, your reflections and prayers built hope
Yes.
for you?
Yes, definitely. I was hoping and want to live. Live was very strong in me, the life.
Yeah.
To this day.
Well, yes, 88,
I'm going to be 89,
89. When is your birthday?
October 9th, 1936.
And you get to the Carpathian Mountains, dragged along by your aunt, fresh air.
Wonderful food,
Well, yeah, I was going to say,
river, everything.
The part that a lot of people, look past is all the nutritional things that you weren't exposed to as a
Fruits.
young person. All of the
Yes.
things that, you know, we take for granted every single day. You're in the ghetto, in the basement, in all of
No
these
food.
situations. So you get to the Carpathian Mountains, and then what?
Crying for my mother. So finally there came my grandma and my mother came, and they said we're going to have the high holidays together, and then we're going to go back to Budapest. Well, our plan was our plan. God had another plan.
You've been listening.
They closed the borders. The Russian took over the whole area and put their armament into the Carpathian Mountain, and we couldn't go in or out, and we were stuck like in a jail
But together.
together.
Weirdly, again, your mom and grandma and your aunt and you.
Yes.
But now in the Carpathian Mountains, what happens next? Because now,
I
how old
learned
are
how
you now?
to-
Are you 12?
10, 12.
12 years old.
There is a picture. I will show you what I did. There is one picture. Oh, this is what I was doing. Reading.
Lots of reading.
Loved reading. And the whole neighborhoods, many streets, I made friends and I asked them if they have a good book. I read Gonna Be the Wind in Hungarian. I read many, many books that made in, written American and translated to Hungarian. That's what I was doing, and I learned how to put seeds in the ground and things and grow and have food that we can plant and have. I learned how to live from a farm. Never in my life I didn't know how a carrot grows.
Yeah.
I learned.
Yes.
I was farming and reading.
Well, and other Holocaust survivors are in, they're in displacement camps. They're in all different parts of the world, and this is part of the story where, we hear during the Holocaust, the horrors, the deaths, the murders, but there's a consequence after the Holocaust that often gets missed, and most people don't hear this part, which is why I like this conversation, because you're basically now in Western Russia, the Ukraine, the Carpathian Mountain area.
A matter of fact, when Biden was in the Carpathian Mountain with his wife in Uzhgorod, where my daughter Judy was born, and that they were showing it. Yeah, interesting. So this Carpathian Mountain area had a lot of Jews, but they were all sent to Auschwitz from there. And many of them came home without a husband even, or just the men came home without the wife and children. And anybody who saw me there started crying. And I didn't know something wrong with me that people cry. And then I understood. They told me that they're sad to what they lost. They see me as their child whom they lost. So I understood, and I became the number one, what is that called, witness or whatever, flower girl. For everybody's wedding.
For all the weddings.
Yeah. I was happily said, yes, I'm going to dress up and come as a flower girl. So,
but what a unique honor to represent all of those children and bring that joy just of your presence after all that horror.
Yes. You see, I looked into people's eyes and feeling and sadness, and I understood it. And I had so many people just loved me after that. They didn't cry, they hugged me and loved me because I was there for them.
And that's after the numbness that you experience of living, you know, in the ghetto, and like you had stated before, this kind of loss of fear for
Yes,
death.
yes,
And
constantly.
then post, I mean, you have this kind of shift and renaissance in your life in the Carpathian Mountains, albeit trapped there.
Trapped there, but good food
Yeah.
and lots of good people.
But that nutrition might be why, you know, you have this gift of being here today.
Well, maybe,
Yeah.
but also my willingness, my looking for life. Life is very important for me. That is a common thing,
Right.
but life, and I just love people who work with, like you, working with survivors and stories, to tell the kids, to bring them to make good for themselves, to be good and kind for others. Because without that, I know for sure, if it's all bad, it's just death. And life and the goodness makes us live longer and better.
Well, it's the maintenance of memories. You know, this weekend here we're coming up, and this won't be relevant in the film, but like, it's Memorial Day.
Yes.
And that's about memories and memorializing pieces. So what's
So important.
as you then move on from your
So I've
10,
now
12 years old.
and 13 and 14. Now I'm going to get married and have children. I wanted to have a ton of kids to replace the people that no longer here, that died, and that I wanted to name them all, you know, just like I have all the pictures. I wanted to name them, but I couldn't have more than the 2 children. And
How old are you when you started to date?
I date. My stepfather arranged I should get married. He's not going to spend college for what? She wants to get married to have children. Let her marry. I was 17 when I got married. 18 when I had Judy.
Oh.
20 when I came to this country.
So tell us the story then of, okay, so you get married and now the border opens.
Now, my ex-husband, whom I got married, was an Auschwitz survivor. And some people did not survive well. And he had a lot of anger in him. He had the number, the Auschwitz number, and he was 15 when he went to Auschwitz, and a lot of horrible things happened to him. He was with his younger brother. The younger brother was 13, and he got sick, and my ex-husband saved his life. He threw him out from the tent that there were, so because the Nazis came in, and whoever was ever in bed, they just took them out and threw them in the gas chamber and burned them. He saved his brother, throwing him out and then bringing him in and throwing him out till he felt better. He was sick, and he survived. Both of them survived. But he was really, he was very angry most of the time, and the kids were naughty like children are. He beat them. I mean, he was physically very bad. And after 23 years, I divorced him. I couldn't take any longer. I went for counseling, and the counselor, a woman I remember, beautiful older lady, and said, "My dear, get a divorce. It's not going to get better."
And these are, again, those unspoken consequences of the horrors.
But the most important thing was for me, for my children. My
Correct.
children.
And protecting them.
Protecting them. That's it. So they didn't see much of him after that either, because Then he just stopped seeing them.
So you have an arranged marriage. Your mother gets remarried. Your stepfather says, Ava,
You get married?
you get married. You get married, and then you leave the Carpathian Mountains. Tell us the journey to the United States, because that was not easy either.
I had my. Oh, but okay, we're gonna go back to this. So that's me and my daughter, Judy.
So you are
Passport.
19 years old in this picture?
Yes,
And she is less than 1.
yes.
Okay, adorable. And this picture was taken in what country?
In Austria. So we escaped from Hungary because under communism, now you think that I learned something very important. No fascism, no communism is good for people because they're in the bad side of, I put groups here and groups there. America, I found out, I was reading about it, they have a wonderful system, no religion, there is a division between religion and the state. It's divided, it's
not one. There's not a unified faith.
yeah, but
you have choice.
in the United States there is a rule that there is no religion. It's doesn't matter. There is a word for it, but it will come to me. And I decided this is democracy. That's what I want to live in. I want to live in democracy and freedom from whatever. I want to be an American. And it was very important for me that I love this country and I'm gonna come to America. So we escaped from Hungary. We went to we made ourselves from a small town to a small town in Austria, and then we made it to Vienna. And we are standing outside of the United States governmental building to sign up legally to come to America. Well, it took sometime 3 days. It's a lot of Hungarian refugees were coming to America then. And one day I'm holding my baby in the line, and my baby is crying. Now you can imagine what came into my mind. Somebody gonna come, we are in this big line, and gonna take my baby and kill. A woman touches my shoulder, and I look at her. I don't speak German, Vienna, Austria, and she shows me to come with her. Angels, good people. I was so lucky to always have the good people. This woman took me to her home, a block away. She lived from the United States.
The embassy.
The embassy. Took me home, fed my baby, cut diapers off her sheet. She took the sheet off her bed and tore it up for diapers and gave it to me. And fed me and give me food and for the baby. Now, can you imagine where that came from? And I just not taking it simply. It just happened to me. I right away go to one person. You know, I felt sometime that angels are sitting on my shoulders. I have to tell you, I believed it and told me what to do and how to do it.
Yeah, you have great instincts, and then you have these incredible people who come in and out of your story. So you get your passport, you and Judy and your husband.
Together, I had to be with her because she was very young, baby, and my husband had a singular picture.
And then how did you get to the United States?
So then we went from Vienna, overnight train to Bremen, Germany, and we went into a boat, old American General Hahn, old warship, General Hahn, and it was Christmas Day. We were standing in line to board the ship in Bremen, Germany. And my baby got sick, very high fever. She had chickenpox all the way to the United States.
Oh.
And
that was a long ride.
I tell you, it was a small ship, warship, and there was one guy I never forgot. His name was Jim. I called him Jem because it was Hungarian Jem. I remembered him that way. He brought me food all the time and for the baby and took care of us. We arrived January 7th, 1957 in New Jersey. Camp Kilmer, because the Ellis Island was closed for fixing. And we went to Camp Kilmer. And yes, January 7th, 1957, I came to America. I got the green card. And 3 years later, I became a citizen of this country. Worked day and night. By the way, we first lived in New Jersey for a few months, and my ex-husband's sister came also out with 2 kids, and they came to visit us from Milwaukee to New Jersey. And they said, why are you living here? Milwaukee is such a clean, beautiful place. A lot of German people live there, and they keep the state beautiful. I went to their car. There were 4, and we were 2, 6 in a car, and drove to Milwaukee. My ex-husband then came and brought whatever we owned and came here. And a matter of fact, one of his friends, he made a friend there in New Jersey, also came out because we came, and he settled here.
So over the course of your entire formative life, when Judy as a child, the experience in Vienna, the Carpathian Mountains, when you reflect upon all that, Eva, like, what do you never take for granted?
Life. Very important for me. Life is what you have, and there is only one. And make the best. It doesn't matter how hard you have to work. Work is wonderful. And I made friends at work. I learned English at work. I worked at night shifts. I worked in different shifts because I was raising also my child. I was cooking also. And we had a house now in America. Mm-hmm. And I had American child. I got pregnant.
2 children.
2 children.
Yeah.
And the other one was born here.
And
10 years difference.
That's where this whole project began when we started talking. Was I wanted to start at the end, like where we sit today and all of the things that have occurred. Because when you walk through your home and you see all of the photos, all of the things that are now possible as a result of, as you've said, the angels in your life, the resiliency of your mother, the luck of your instincts, knowing to hide under the mattress, knowing to, go get your mom out of the line, seeing the horrors of an infant murdered, of your friends and people you live with murdered. And the one thing that you will never take for granted is this.
Life and goodness.
Yeah.
I feel that if there would not be enough good people in this world, we would not have a world.
Correct.
I just want to show you a few pictures.
Okay.
Now, this is two of my cousins who were put into a convent. They're in Hungarian outfits. This is Judy and Aggie. Two of my cousins were in the convent. The nuns took all the kids to a movie. One of their friends, school friends, saw them. This is where good and evil comes in. Told the Nazis, oh, look, those are two Jewish girls. I went to school with them. They shoot them right into the Danube. That's how people were killed. Just one word.
One word. From a child to take another child.
Yes, yes, yes. Beautiful. This is the picture of my father. I made that, blow that up.
So this is him at the work camp, correct?
Yes.
And
yes,
this is when they were moved. All of the Hungarian men were sent off to work on the western
different
fronts.
places, but
Yeah.
he was in this copper mine. Yeah, this is, yeah. Okay, so just a few photos. This is that one. This is my mother in Budapest.
That's a famous bridge, right?
Yes, the Elizabeth Bridge. And her name is Elizabeth, my mother's name. And this is my mother, my aunt, my grandma, and me.
And this is before the war.
Before the war.
Because you look to be about 3 or 4 years old.
Yes.
And you have never lost that joy.
And always with my grandma.
Yeah. Grandma Rose.
Yes.
What was their last name?
My mother's last name was Eisner. Her last name was Eisner. So this is my mother and me. And this is World War I picture. It's in,
Because your father was a veteran, correct?
No. My father and my mother's brother were in business together in plumbing, heating and plumbing. At that time, you know, it was needed in Budapest. They didn't have that automatic heat gas. So they had a business together. This is from my grandfather family, Desslers, and in the Carpathian Mountain, World War I. And this is, look how happy my father and my mother. I don't know why I am.
You just weren't ready for the photo in that picture. But I mean, this is what I think often gets lost, and I just want to take a second to emphasize this. As we work hard to remember the stories of your life, the impact of the Holocaust, but more importantly, you know,
we had a life.
Yeah,
we had a
and
wonderful
there was joy,
life.
and
yeah.
And a man in this photo was murdered for no other reason than being Jewish.
Yes.
And that in and of itself can never be lost in the history of this period of time. And too often, again, as time goes on, the numbers will, well, they are what they are. But this is your dad.
Yes.
And he is gone for no reason.
No reason. And this is the picture you saw, and this is their wedding picture. And this is me in Budapest. You see how happy I am and beautiful?
Surrounded by beautiful flowers. Those
yes.
look like
that's a big
irises.
Park. Yeah.
Like you have in your yard.
And dressed well and...
But look at cute Ava. Like, but I want to pause on this for a second too, because this is very clearly right before everything starts to happen. And this is the young woman, young girl, who goes through and endures and observes and sees all of this horror.
Horror. And this is My father's sister, she was 7 months pregnant when she was sent to Auschwitz, and a friend of hers who survived, she said that her stomach, she was tumbled out of the train. She got caught or something, and the Nazi went with the bayonet and put it in her stomach, and that's how she died. And this is the picture, the last time I saw my father.
And this is in Budapest?
Yeah. Now this is
So can I just ask you a quick question?
Yes.
Do you recall this?
I went back here with my grandson and my family, and we took pictures right here.
But the joy on your face, again, this photo
And
could
the
be
love.
of anyone at any
and
time.
the love. I'm looking at my father with love.
And tell us again, what was your father's first name?
Jacob.
Jacob.
This is how we saved Agi and Yutka. Yeah. And
Those are the modern pictures we've seen.
yes. So my aunt who saved me and took me to the Carpathian Mountain, that's the aunt. And then she married this man. And they lived in the Carpathian Mountain. And that's how.
So this is after the war?
After the war.
Okay, so who is everyone here?
My
This
aunt,
and
her husband, my
Grandma
grandma.
Rose?
This is me. And this is my sister who was born after the war. And that's my mother married this man.
And this is a part of the story I don't know. When you came to the United States, where did they?
They stayed in the
They
Carpathian
stayed
Mountain.
in the Carpathian Mountains. And
Yeah.
your grandmother lived how long?
She died there. I remember her death.
Oh,
She told me, I slept with her every night, and she told me she's going to die. I said, you're joking. You're not going to die. She says, yes.
how old was she?
81.
Think of that life, right? Like, think of the stories your grandmother.
She was full of goodness. Just goodness.
What's one of the most impactful things she ever taught you or told you?
She taught me how to cook, how to bake, how to be kind to another person. She said, without kindness, there is no life.
And were they devout Jewish?
She was religious. She believed all of it,
So she held every holiday, every
and
sa-
kosher and everything.
through
My
it all.
aunt brought shrimps, which we were happy, and ham. And she said, I should eat that. I rather die.
Really? She's
She-
that devout.
Yes.
No shellfish, no pork.
No. Never. Ever.
Do you think that wonderful commitment to faith and stubbornness is another characteristic that helped everyone kind of move through and get to
Some
the
people.
Carpathian Mountains?
Some people. But you have to believe in that.
You have to have faith.
And
Okay.
some people believe in that.
I don't know. I have a question about what advice do you have for future teachers like me when going into our careers and teaching about the Holocaust? What would you want to say?
I think a teacher should be curious about each of their students because they all have something special. I think God made us all special. I think so. And I think if you know your student and you know what they are or what they went through, you have a better connection with them. You better off knowing them than just think of them without knowing them, seeing them without. So I would spend time with each individually, like I like to talk to people. Because I think you learn a lot, but you will be a wonderful teacher because they will relate to you better if they know you and you know them. So I think it's very important.
Can I just follow up?
Yeah.
When she teaches specifically about the Holocaust, what should be the emphasis? What should she really?
The truth. The truth is very important. That's why I don't talk about how many here and how many. I'm telling my story. I think kids see through the truth. I think children know the truth, feel the truth. And I think that's the most important, truth.
And then my next question is, what advice do you have for then the youth of today, young people you want to put out? What you want the youth to know today?
That don't judge. I think judging is terrible. You don't know the person. You don't know the people. Don't judge. Everybody has a story. Everybody has something that they share if they know you and they love you. They're not going to say it if they don't know you. Everybody has something that they don't want to talk about, and it's hard to talk about. Life is very complicated, and I think that teachers have the ability to really make every person special.
Yeah. Thank you.
So, Grace, now that we have had this conversation and you've seen some of the faces, you had a really unique life experience this year where Grace has been to Budapest. She's been fortunate enough to travel, but she also went to Auschwitz. And now that you kind of see and hear this, share with Ava, like, what was your experience and how did you feel when you went to Auschwitz? Because we talked like right away after you went there, but what was that like for you as a young woman, knowing that like you're the same age as her in this story? What was Auschwitz like now in the 21st century for a young person who understands what's going on there or what happened there?
It was very powerful, I would say. And I thought of you a lot, especially in Budapest and your story. I even went, I went in February to Auschwitz, so it was cold and it was actually snowing. So even more beautiful, I thought, to see how hard that would be back then without my bundled up coat and all my stuff, but it's very powerful.
She
You
called
know-
me. Oh, go ahead.
You know that I met a lady that she was already in the gas chamber, and something went wrong. They couldn't put the gas on, and they let them go out, and she survived. Can you imagine what we talked, and she said, life is so important. You know, when you have that life and that experience, you realize what life is really. Look at this beautiful day. I was the best gardener. Now I can't because my arthritis. But where I put my pictures is a thank you note from one of the students. A little thank you. But animals, I cannot kill a fly, really. I think every animal, I feed them. I don't care if they make holes and they're going to the ground. They have the right. That's how I feel about animals. I keep them with people because they're important for me. The 40 years I was looking for one person that survived from my family, from my father's family. Here is Peter, and his son and his daughter. This is in Australia. And me. Since then we see each other. He's gonna come, and I'm gonna take him in the fall, and I'm gonna take them to Herk, and I want you to meet him.
Oh, we'll tour them through Port Washington. We'll have a whole day.
Oh, he will
But
love it.
this is one of those great pieces again where, as we saw through your whole home, and that's where I kind of want to close out with you now, is your story, these little pieces of luck and intentionality and resilience lead to the opportunity just for so many other people. Your impact on myself, my daughter, my wife, the listeners to my podcast who, you know, would tell me, you know, I was out walking and I heard the start and, oh, that lady sounds very cute with her accent. And I just was listening and I stood still and I stared on, I had one person tell me they were walking and they were on their normal walk around the block and they stopped and she said, I didn't even realize, but I'd stood there for 30 minutes listening to her story. And that's the powerful piece of you, your work with Herc, your impact on Grace and myself when we met you during COVID, and just the way that your path has blazed open for so many other people to be empathetic and understanding, and then learn. My favorite word is resiliency, and how you've modeled that all through the story here of just a wonderful childhood, horribly disrupted with the Holocaust and death and murder and unpredictability, and the wonderful story of the kindness in Vienna, coming to Milwaukee, having the individual courage to move forward for your girls, and then get in a position where now that you can influence the world. So thank you for what you do every day and what you've done and,
My
and
pleasure.
who you are.
I feel that God lets me live a wonderful life to share my stories. It's very important for me. So young people shouldn't hate. I hate that word. They should love and be kind and learn about different people. It's wonderful that we have all kinds of people in this world. And if you believe in God, then you understand they're all made by God. I mean, I love all kinds of people. I love everybody.
Last question for you. When do you feel God's presence? When are you reminded of that?
When my little great-granddaughter, Tali's bat mitzvah, we were all there. And she's praying and she is up in the stage and she's wonderful. She's very smart and bright, and her bat mitzvah, and she's talking. And I felt God's presence. This is what God gave me, all my family here. Yes. I say thank you.
I think that's a perfect place to stop. You're the best. Thank you. Thank you, Grace.
Thank you. But here is the two great-granddaughters. Now she's 17. And this is the 14-year-old.
And they're in Colorado?
Colorado. And this is in Budapest. We went to Budapest. This is Tamar, number one. And Peter and his wife, and me, and David, my number two, and Judy, and Lisa. We were all in Budapest. And we were dining. And Judy said, no matter how much pain you had there, you still like to go there. She asked me, why you still want to go there? And I tell her, that's where I came from. That's where I had you. That's where I lived.
Yeah, it's your story.
It's my story. It's my city. I love that city. And I love to go there and visit. I don't like, I mean, I believe, and my husband told me that don't ever, like we went through Germany visiting, don't ever feel that the people who murdered your family, that these are the people that a child of a murderer is not a murderer. So I put things into order in my own head. That why can't I love? I will travel through Germany. I didn't see one person that could have killed me. I feel that what happened, we have to keep it in historical level, and teach the children. They have to learn. Young people have to learn what happened, and what happens if you do this or that, or what happens when you choose kindness and stand up. What happens to you? You grow.
Your forgiveness is so admirable. It's so beautiful. There are many people who would not be able to say that, and yet your mindset there, I love. I just really love the fact that I love that the child of a murderer is not a murderer, and that's the importance of historical context over time.
Yes.
Is that so that we always remember, but we never forget, so that
Yes.
never happens again, so that it's never a great grandchild or someone's readings, writings, or influence or hatred
Yes.
can grow again. And that's the power of young teachers and all teachers over time, and being able to do this.
That's why I was so sad the other day when that young couple were murdered. I mean, why? What they did? Why?
Senseless.
Senseless. And this is what I want to stop. That's why I go out and talk to the young people. So it shouldn't happen. And then I ask myself, well, it doesn't work. But the next day I say, no, it works. Because if I change, out of 850 high school students, 5, it's 5 not going to do that.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
Well, that's why you're a teacher.
I'm not a teacher.
No, you are. When you stand in front and tell the story, that makes you a teacher. It's wonderful.
But I love them, and I look at their faces, in their eyes, and I feel that no way that they're going to hurt anybody.
Yeah.
And they're going to stand up for their right. And here is my 4 great-grandchildren. So when I see them, we were together in Mexico. I mean, come on. I had part of this.
You are the reason they're there.
And you should talk to they will tell you. Yes. And I went back and I know where I was born. It's in my head, the street name, the number and everything. So we are in the taxi and David said, do you remember where you were born? I said, of course, it's in my head. So I tell the taxi driver in Hungary. He takes us there. That's the day when they were taking apart the whole house. Would you believe this? This is
They were tearing down the house.
the whole
day you were
house
there.
that day.
You live a life of fate. Like in the true
I mean,
sense of fate.
they couldn't believe it. The house is being,
What?
my grandparents live there, and they're taking apart the whole house.
Number 22. Wow. Again, Ava, thank you so much.
Yes, my pleasure, always.
Yeah.
I love talking to you,
I love this. This is the best.
and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you.